Амбасадорке, благодарам за ова интервју.
Благодарам, фалеминдерит.
Кога се прави интервју со амбасадор на земја членка на Европската унија во овој период, неизбежно е прашањето за кредибилитетот на ЕУ во Северна Македонија и во регионот. Причината е блокадата на Северна Македонија и на Албанија на патот кон полноправно членство еден ден. Знаеме дека Шведска не е пречка, но сепак ова е одлука или не е одлука на Европската унија во која што Шведска членува.
Yes, let me start with saying that you already know that Sweden is a strong supporter of North Macedonia's EU process. We would like to see continued EU engagement here in the country as well as in the region. Sweden remains also actively involved in trying to reach a joint EU position so that the negotiation could start as soon as possible. Of course, this needs a joint decision by all member states, but at the same time it's also important that all the member states stick to the commitments made also in the EU treaties, also concerning the European values. North Macedonia has made significant reforms to the benefit both for the people and for the country. Despite this blockage you mentioned, I strongly encourage you to continue and keep up with the reform agenda and implement the reforms, because these are also a part of your negotiations for the EU.
Кредибилитетот на овие денови се анализира и низ една друга перспектива, а тоа е дистрибуцијата на вакцините и неможноста ЕУ макар символично да испрати по неколку стотици дози вакцини во Северна Македонија и во другите земји од регионот. Што беше проблем да се издвојат макар символични количини вакцини за овој дел од регионот?
Let me start with the broader context. Facing a pandemic, I would argue that the EU support to this country and to the region has been very strong. The EU, together with the European investment banks, has put aside 3.3 billion euros in donations and loans to mitigate the effects of the COVID-19 crisis in different way of supporting. Out of this, 70 million euros has been available also for buying safe and authorized vaccines. And by safe vaccines, I mean authorized by the European Medicine Agency, also for the administrative part of administer the vaccines. Maybe in this context, I would also like to highlight the European Council conclusions from, it's now 1.5 weeks ago, where the EU heads of state and government met and reaffirmed their support to third countries, showing their solidarity with third countries. They underlined determination also to step up the global response to the pandemic, and they stated, if you allow me to quote, that they remain committed to improving access to vaccines for priority groups in our neighborhood and beyond, based on common principles, and to supporting a global approach through the COVAX facility. And from a Swedish perspective here, I also would like to add that Sweden has doubled its support to the COVAX facility from 10 million euros to 20 million euros. And that we hope to also to supply and deliver almost 200 countries, and of course that is also including North Macedonia. But the support due to the COVID-19 crisis is not just about the vaccines. Also from the Swedish Development Corporation, we have also redirected and readjusted a bit of the support in this country to mitigate the effects of the crisis.
Зборувавте веќе делумно за реформите во одговорот на моето прво прашање. Ваши колеги амбасадори од други земји членки на Европската унија велат ништо не ја спречува Северна Македонија и покрај блокадата да продолжи да работи на промените, трансформацијата и реформите. Моето прашање е колку е тоа можно без позитивниот притисок што од искуство го носи пристапниот процес кон Европската Унија.
On this, I will agree, of course, with my EU ambassador colleague saying that nothing is stopping North Macedonia with continuing with the reform agenda. Actually, I would maybe reword it a bit, saying that nothing should stop you. You should continue with the reform agenda. It's of benefit for your country and for its people. And this is also something that will be rewarding for you when you start the negotiations for the EU. So I would encourage you to continue with the implementation of the reform agenda. From a Swedish perspective, I would also like to add that we have development cooperation in North Macedonia. And actually we name it reform cooperation, and that is our support to your reform efforts. We have the bilateral development cooperation here. The volume is almost 6 million euros a year, which makes Sweden the biggest bilateral donor among the EU countries. Our support is focused on three main areas. The first one is to support democratic institutions, the rule of law, democracy and human rights, gender-related issues. The second one is in the environmental sector, climate change, could be air pollution support or wastewater management. And the third area we're looking into is also to support the economic development. And this, I would say, is Swedish contribution to North Macedonia in your preparations and your preparedness for the EU. It's about reforms, implementing the reforms, within the rule of law sector, as I said, the fight against corruption, the fight against organized crime, but everything is also about values. For me, the values of the European is very important. The democratic and the fundamental rights, the gender equality I mentioned, and everything in this is stated in one of my most important books. This is the Swedish version of the Lisbon Treaty. I read it from time to time, or actually quite often. The introductory part I really like. Here you have the fundamental values of the European Union. Always when you join a club, you're supposed to sign what the rules and regulations of that club is. And I read this, and this is a part of my European Union. Especially, I would like to highlight the Article 2, where you have the that defines the European values. It reads like this: the Union is founded on the values of respect for human dignity, freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law, and respect for human rights, including the rights of persons belonging to minorities. These values are common to the member states in a society in which pluralism, non-discrimination, tolerance, justice, solidarity, and equality between women and men prevail. I usually add in this context that the history of our continent shows that when we turn a blind eye to the violation of these democratic rights and freedom, the history shows what can happen. And that's why also Sweden will never compromise on these fundamental values and democratic rights, which is also something that the EU has an important role to stand up for, and also other European countries.
Денеска е Меѓународниот ден на жената, 8 март, ден кога жените во Северна Македонија добиваат посебно внимание, добиваат барем еден цвет од своите сопрузи, синови, од работодавачите. Знам дека во вашата земја има сосема поинаква традиција и култура на овој ден, но исто така, вие веќе ја споменавте родовата еднаквост. Шведска е земја шампион во делот на родовата еднаквост. Од ваша перспектива, како стојат работите со родовата еднаквост овде во оваа земја?
First, let me say that you are perfectly correct. Gender equality is a very high priority for Sweden. And I also learned about the tradition you have here of giving a flower on the 8th of March. For me, this day is not about giving or receiving a flower. Gender equality for me is something that you do every day. This is a everyday business. Gender equality for me is shared responsibility within your household work, for example. It could be caring about your children, caring about your elderly people or relatives in your family. It could be shared parental leave, and so on. Moving broader than the household, I would say that gender equality is also about the decision-making structures, where it's not just about having women to take a seat, it's actually to be a part of the decision-making structures, the structures where the important decisions are made. That's where we are supposed to be as women. And it's also an important role that all the men have in empowering the women. That is gender equality for me. But just about the situation in North Macedonia, and well, I've been here 1.5 years. You know probably more than I do regarding this, but I made a few observations when I've been traveling around in the country, and I see a bit of difference between the city and the countryside. I also see differences between different families. Could be of historical or cultural other reasons. There are also differences of those who have chosen a more modern lifestyle or that have more of tradition within their families. But looking more outside I've noticed that there have been important legislative amendments the last period as well, both when it comes to the anti-discrimination law, violence against women and the Istanbul Convention, and also the plans for the UN Security Council Resolution 1325 as regards the Women, Peace and Security agenda. All this together, I think it's important steps for North Macedonia on the journey of also embracing the gender equality in all the different sectors, from your own household to the decision-making processes in the country.
Thank you very much.
Maybe I can just finish off this interview then with, since it's 8th of March today, and I'm not sure if you have given your wife a flower yet, but maybe you this year can consider giving her something else.
Јас останав доследен на традицијата, дадов и цвеќе, ама инаку можам да ви кажам дека знам да измијам и садови и да исчистам со правосмукалка. Благодарам за овој интервју.
Благодарам, Валеминдир.